Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I have another interesting product review for you guys, and that's a dynamic entry-level microphone from Samson. And to be precise, it is the Samson Q7. And yeah, it says professional dynamic microphone, and that's what I'm going to test. It is not that pricey, but I'm really amazed. The case and the build quality, it looks really nice. Here you see the pickup pattern and the frequency response. And yeah, I mean, sometimes it's really, in the past, I mostly have used Shure microphones. That was my, Shure usually was my go-to microphone. But sometimes these other microphone manufacturers also make really great mics. So that's what I'm gonna test today. And as you can see in the navigation below, right now you're watching the introductory part where I just introduce this product review slash a little bit of tutorial advice. And in part 2, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do an unboxing. I'm going to show you this really nice package, what's inside, a little bit of my impression of the build quality of the microphone. And then most interestingly, in part 3, I'm going to do sound test. And for the sound test part, what I'm going to do is I'm going to connect this microphone to my favorite little preamp. I really love these tube preamps. I think they make a really nice sound. And yes, some people have complained, oh my god, you're using a tube preamp. That's way too complicated. I don't have a tube preamp. I don't want to buy a tube preamp. I just have a basic USB audio interface. Can't I just use a basic USB audio interface to connect my microphone? And the clear answer is yes, you can. For most people, a standard USB audio interface is probably totally sufficient. What I'm going to do in this review, I'm going to compare the Samson Q7 against my good old Shure SM58, because that's kind of like the staple microphone that I'm usually always using. So that's basically going to give me the reference sound. And yeah, it's a little bit, some people may complain, oh, this is biased. In most of all your microphone reviews, you compare against the Shure. But I think Shure is just, it's just a common microphone. Most people know that microphone. So I'm just gonna A/B test those two on my preamp in the sound test part. So you gotta see, because I want to see what is the difference between these two microphones. And once we have done that, I jump to the part 4, summary and conclusion, and that's all we need to do. So why don't we get rolling with the unboxing of the Samson Q7 and then jump to the sound test. Let's get rolling. So guys, let's have a closer look at the Samson Q7. I'm really super curious. I mean, the blue packaging looks kind of interesting. I really want to test this right now just by looking at it. And the transport case is like a real thing that stands out. I mean, the Shure microphones, they don't come with these nice carrying cases. That seems to be a new thing that the manufacturer, or like not necessarily a new thing, but popular thing, that some of even the lower priced microphones come with these carrying cases. So it's a kind of interesting value added. And we get a manual, has like a bunch of information in there. The manufacturer says exceptionally clear, crisp sound. Guys, we're gonna test this just in a second. I'm not going to bother you with these all these details. Maybe just very briefly, for people who are interested, they can just pause, have a look, and then continue. For what it's worth, I think this is a really bargain kind of microphone. One thing I want to point out though is that please pay attention whenever you buy a microphone. For the most part, it shouldn't be a problem. There is the microphone holder, and inside of those are usually, or should be, an adapter screw. And maybe I can take this out real quick, because once I bought a microphone where this adapter screw was missing, and you might think, oh, who cares? But for me, it was a little bit disappointing, because I have this microphone stand and it just wouldn't fit. So just pay attention, make sure when you buy a microphone, it has this adapter, because that way you can be sure each and every time you can put the microphone on the mount you want to use. And yeah, it only happened once, but it happened, so that's why I mention it. Other than that, let's maybe take out the microphone right here, have a little bit of a closer look. And again, it's a little bit tough to get this in focus. You see, it's like the Shure. It's a metal casing, a very nice manufacturing quality. I really like the way this feels to the touch. So let's quickly, if you ever need to change the capsule, you can carefully turn this and then remove the, guys, how do you call this, shielding? And that's what it looks like with the top part removed. You see the capsule has like this orange ring around it. I feel the design is really different from some of the other microphones that I saw. So it says professional cartridge, low impedance, 200 ohms, high grade. So we're gonna test this in a second. I'm gonna put this top part back on. Obviously you don't want to do this all the time, just be careful. But it's good to know you supposedly can change the cartridge if there's a cartridge malfunction ever. So that's a standard kind of design to make it good for maintenance. So that's about all I have to say about the microphone right now. Let's just jump to the next part, do the sound test. I'm gonna test this microphone and then compare it against the classic Shure SM58. So we do a little bit of an A/B test, and then you get an impression how this microphone performs against the industry classic. So without further ado, let's jump to part 3 and listen to the sound test. So guys, welcome back. Right now we are listening to we are in the sound test part, and we're listening to the Samson Q7 dynamic microphone. As you can see over here, I connected it to my preamp, and so far I really like the impression that I got from this entry-level dynamic microphone. It seems to be really quality mic for a budget price. I think it's one of these many competitors that the more expensive Shure has. And yeah, I mean, what can I say? I connected it via the XLR cable to my preamp, and then from the preamp the signal gets preamplified and then sent into my audio interface. And yeah, settings, I turned up the sensitivity all the way, but that's kind of normal. I mean, most audio interfaces that I have or preamps, you have to turn up the gain quite high with these dynamic microphones, simply because those are not condenser microphones. They don't have the 84 volt, 48 volt phantom power. And if it would be too high, if it would be clipping, then it would be, you would see the red here. If I get a little bit closer, you see it will clip. So if you're planning to be really close to your mic, you can dial down the sensitivity just a tiny little bit. So guys, I know this has given you the first impression. What I'm going to do next is I'm going to switch over to the Shure SM58, because that's what I like to use as a comparison mic. So let's jump over to the next mic, so you have like a little bit of an A/B test going on. Now I have switched over to the Shure SM58, the standard microphone that I like to use for reference testing. And yeah, you should notice that the sound is slightly different, not too much, but there you go. I mean, those are kind of like the subtleties of those microphones. If you feel that difference is not really worth the price, yeah, I encourage you to check out these more affordable competitors for people who are on a budget. That's totally legitimate. You don't necessarily always have to buy the brand name products, although I'm a fan of those brand name products, admittedly. But hey, just because I'm a fan doesn't mean I also can use a more affordable budget backup microphone, just in case. And as you see, I changed nothing on this preamp. The input gain is still the same, and that's all there is. Now, if I would now use a condenser microphone with the 84 volt phantom power, then obviously I could the condenser microphone would be way more sensitive, so I could reduce the input gain. But I think I'm jumping to a different topic here. So that concludes the test of the Samson Q7 against one of these industry classic microphones, and I'm going to do some listening to this recording right now myself, and then let's jump to the last part, to the summary and conclusion part, where I tell you what I think about and summarize everything we learned so far. So guys, now we jump to part 4, the summary and conclusion part, and what have we learned so far. First, in part 1, I introduced the project to you, gave you a little bit idea of what I was planning to do. Then I did an unboxing. I showed you the microphone itself. I gave you a few close-up shots. I showed you the packaging. I reminded you of all the details that you may want to pay attention to. Then in part 3, we did an extensive listening test of the Samson Q7 professional dynamic microphone. You did hear how it sounded compared against the industry classic Shure SM58 that I always like to use for reference testing. And yeah, while I was looking at the recorded footage, I really found the Samson Q7 performs really nicely. Obviously, there are maybe some small differences in the way they sound, but for the majority of people, the difference is probably so minor that it's almost negligible. So I think both mics you can work very well with, and it goes to show that you not always have to buy the brand name product that everybody else buys. You can also experiment with other brands that are more affordable and also get very nice results. From all I can tell, there's really a lot of competition going on in this market segment, where the different companies battle for market share, battle for their customers' dollars, and try to grab a piece of the action, so to speak. And that's probably working in your favor, guys. So you can get good quality microphones at a really affordable price. And I really feel that the Shure SM58, while being a long-term classic, has a lot of competition from these other brands, because there's not only Samson, there are other brands as well that have products that look sort of similar to the Shure SM58, but offer a kind of, I would say, in my opinion, somewhat similar performance. So guys, that concludes this product review / microphone tutorial. I see you as a subscriber on my channel. You can check out these other videos as well, because I have lots of other audio equipment videos on my channel. Just head over to the channel page and look for the audio section, and you will find stuff on lavalier microphones, various audio interfaces, which can be quite useful if you just want to learn more about how to get the perfect sound results that you want to get. For example, if you don't want to record Let's Plays or record stuff at home, lavalier mics such as what I'm using right now to record this product review, for example, if you want to make YouTube videos, that can be also quite a little bit of a learning curve. And yeah, just head over to my channel page. I see you maybe as a subscriber and in the next video. Guys, all the best to you. Take care. And since you just watched the product review of the Samson Q7 dynamic microphone, you may also be interested in my recent review of the Yamaha AG3 USB mixer, which is a really terrific audio interface. And guys, I'm amazed about how many people have already subscribed to my YouTube channel because of the useful product reviews that I provide here. You can subscribe right now as well. I see you in the next video, and maybe even in one of my online courses. All the best to you. Take care.